Welcome back to the news at 10. Well, here are some eyewitness photos you sent into our portal. We begin from Kafanchan in Kaduna State with this picture showing these beautiful waterfalls. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the government of the state to develop this tourist center. He says this could improve internally generated revenue of the state. The next picture is from Akin Adeshola Street in Victoria Island, Lagos. Our eyewitness reporter says the pollution from this generating plant should be looked into because of the health implication on the residents and the environment. Our next photo is from North Bank, Makudi, Benue State. It shows one of the classrooms at Nomadic Primary School, Jakwankwa. Our eyewitness reporter is calling on the education authorities in the state to look into this. And finally, it's this picture from Bonny Island, River State. Our eyewitness reporter is asking the government in charge to come and rebuild this dilapidated NIPOS building. We'd like to thank all our viewers for sending in these pictures and encourage you to keep them coming. Now, the Delta State government has received bids from indigenous and international organizations for the role of transaction advisors for the Asaba International Airport renovation. The winner of the bid will be required to provide professional transaction advisory services to Delta State government and perform the duties normally expected of such firms.
Won't give it to anybody, no.
These representatives of 14 different companies are here to tender their bids for the position of a transaction advisor to the Delta State government on issues relating to the Asaba International Airport. Here, the different bids submitted are opened to ascertain if the criteria for submission are met. According to the senior policy advisor to the governor, Professor Sylvester Monye, the process has been as transparent as possible.
And we gave everybody equal time. We gave 4 weeks. We also put out in the terms of reference very detailed requirements and specifications by us. We reserve the right to say your lowest bid is still high. Let's negotiate so that you can come down. That is the transparency we're talking about. Everything is on the table.
The representatives also agree.
Everybody's chances are fair. They've stated out the criteria very, very simply. You must have experience in the aviation sector. You must have experience advising state governments and governments on concessions and public-private partnerships. And, all those things are very clear.
I like the process. It started on time at 12. Most of us were present for the bid openings and everything. But just to show how impressive the process was, there was a late arrival of a bid 30 minutes into the process, and then it was rejected.
Developing the Asaba International Airport remains a top priority of the state government. Because of the economic benefits, the state and the sub-region stand to benefit from the project. If selected, the winner of the bid will be responsible for the following: the completion of the project's preparation, structuring, designing and managing procurement, review of enabling legal and regulatory framework, preparation of definitive concession agreements, amongst others.
The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, will impose a fine of 1 million naira on fuel stations that sell above the new pump price. At a meeting in Abuja, the Director of Petroleum Resources at the DPR, Madakaya Ladan, further adds that such fuel stations also risk being closed for 3 months. Mr. Ladan observed that compliance by petroleum marketers was not as expected, but warned that the law will catch up with those found violating its orders.
Top officials of the Department of Petroleum Resources all converge on the nation's capital to assess the level of compliance to new pump price across the country. The meeting comes after the Minister of Petroleum Resources' recent call for a step-up in surveillance activity on retail outlets throughout the country. Resolutions reached at the end of the meeting focused on strict enforcement and tougher sanctions on marketers who fail to comply.
meeting of these field commanders of the DPR around the country has been called to tell them to go and take measures to ensure full compliance by retail outlet operators. So, and as I said before, any filling station owner that is found manipulating pump price will shut down that station and charge the marketer 1 million naira and also close it down for a minimum of 3 months.
One after the other, officials tell journalists what they have been doing so far to ensure strict compliance to the new price for petroleum products, as well as ensuring availability of the product.
We are still in the process of going around all the interiors, but within Kaduna Metropolis, the compliance is almost 100%. But in the interior, well, we still have to go like places like Beningwari and other places where we have to take 2-3 hours to get there. There are still some level of non-compliance.
Within Maiduguri, things are stabilizing. And in Yobe, like Damaturu, where the state capital, we reach out, and Potiskum, most of the major cities that have achieved some certain degree of stability.
This is not the first time players in the petroleum industry will be meeting to ensure adherence to retail prices. What is, however, different is that henceforth, defaulting petroleum marketers will be made to pay the sum of 1 million naira or face total closure for a period of 3 months.
This may not be the best of times to drive on the Benin-Sapele-Warri Road, as some parts are barely passable, especially the Warri axis of the road. Some motorists who spoke to Channels Television are lamenting the state of the road, which has claimed several lives. But the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA South-South, says efforts are on to fix the failed portions of the road before the rainy season begins.
Traveling on the Benin-Sapele-Warri Road may seem exciting until one comes across these sudden killjoys, failed portions towards the Warri axis of the road in Delta State. Motorists must put their driving skills to the test here in order to maneuver through these bumps and potholes with serious lamentations.
That's how these big men in the country now, and I added they fly past, so they know what you would pass through. So when I airports tell them, maybe they come and try to do the road for us.
You know, one tank away born there, one he lost. Now this road, I make that motor die. We're gonna try. The road not very small thing. We're gonna try.
Even the passengers are far from impressed with the state of the road, as they also voice their displeasure.
Anybody go Lagos, they go Port Harcourt, this road now they pass. But as at now, if they go Warri, they take us 5 hours because of the span of this road. Every day accident. Many souls they go every day, every second, every hour. Driver they go along the express, so they send an express, but this will be like village road.
The scene here speaks for itself. Broken down vehicles and a number of fallen containers. This man is a victim.
It's quite macadamized. It's not tar road any longer, so you can understand how it's causing so pain. Government officials have been seeing this road so bad, and it's like they pay I don't care to it.
Most vehicles plying this dual carriageway are compelled to sometimes drive against traffic, often resulting in fatal accidents. The Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, on its part, says it is not unaware of the condition of the road and has commenced the process of addressing the problem.
I was there with one of our staff from headquarters who saw the problem last month. So we noticed that it's terrible. I've made proposals, we have sent the proposal to them, but I'm going to follow it up. That a special contract has to be awarded on that to save it. Otherwise, as soon as it rains falls now, the process will cut off. So, but I promise that the headquarters will know what to do. They are in the process, and we are following, and we're in touch about the problem.
The public for now can only hope and pray that FEMA fast-tracks its intervention to bring the much-needed succor to people who ply this road. Until then, the people have no choice but to endure and wait.
Well, let's take the day's business news, and here's Anne Wawudu.
and welcome to Business News. The Central Bank of Nigeria will no longer hold dollar auctions on a daily basis, and that's according to the Director of Financial Markets CBN, Mr. Emmanuel Ukeje. The move comes 4 days after the bank halted dollar sales to bureau de change operators in a bid to conserve its dwindling foreign reserves. Well, prior to the latest change, commercial banks were required to pre-fund bids which were submitted to the central bank on a daily basis for the allocation of dollars. And the interbank lending rate is expected to rise next week amid central banks' plans to hold treasury bills and bond auctions in its bid to reduce liquidity and raise cash to finance the government budget deficit. And the interbank overnight lending rate closed at 1% on Friday, and that's the same thing it closed at last week, supported by the injection of cash from retired treasury bills and anticipated refunds of money deposited by banks for forex purchases. The federal government plans to raise 80 billion naira in bonds maturing in 2020 and 2026, with primary action of 196 billion naira in treasury bills, with maturities ranging between 3 months and 1 year. While Nigeria hopes to raise about 900 billion naira from local bonds to finance its more than 6 trillion naira budget this year. The NSE Index Circuit Breakers rule approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission has commenced. The rule, which became effective on January the 15th, that's Friday 2016, is a point where a stock market stops trading for a period of time in response to substantial drops in value. There is no circuit breaker mechanism on the upside, which will prevent speculative gains. Therefore, it is a form of institutionalized bubble bias. You will recall that on December the 1st, 2014, the exchange deferred the effective date of the trading holds due to extraordinary market and informed the market that it will announce the effective date of the rule later. While China's economy grew by around 7% last year, as the services sector accounted for half of the gross domestic product, the emerging economy's GDP had totaled more than $10 trillion, with employment expanding more than expected. Well, latest figures show that 900 million people made up of the country's total workforce, including 150 million skilled professionals. But analysts have said they have forecast China's growth at 6.9%, down from 7.3% in 2014. And that's the slowest pace in the quarter of the century. And it's a wrap on Business News for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Harriet will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Anne. Still ahead on the news at 10, and ahead of FIFA presidential elections, Jordan's Prince Ali has accused Sheikh Salman of attempting to engineer a block vote. That's on Sports News. Please join us again.